Så. Carsten A. Andersen, han har været journalist i rigtig, rigtig mange år. Han er kommet på Pow Wow i over 20 år. Han kender rigtig, rigtig mange mennesker, og nogle af de helt store præsidenter, vicepræsidenter, stiller gerne op, når det er, at han spørger, om han må lave et interview med dem. Og det kommer mig til gode. Jeg er ikke god til engelsk, men det er Carsten, og han interviewer nogle fantastisk spændende, store koncern vicepræsidenter. Pow Wow. Jeg er kommet på Pow Wow over 10 gange. Det er 11. eller 12. gang. Og jeg er lige imponeret. Det er så fantastisk. Det starter om mandagen, men lørdag og søndag før, der er der ture, hvor der er både journalister og agenter fra hele verden kan komme på nogle udflugter og så opleve landet, inden det hele går løs. Der er om aftenen, så er der stort show, og i år, der var det hos noget, der hedder Mercedes. Jeg tror, det var et bilfirma. Det er altid er stort herovre, så jeg tænkte, det er et bilfirma, der stiller lokaler til råd. Så er det faktisk en sportshal. Restauranter fra New Orleans kom med små boder med mad, og så var der masser af drinks og masser af underholdning. Og alle var glade, og der var ansigtsmaling. Jamen, det var så fantastisk, så mange aktiviteter der er. I Pow Wow, derude lukker man hele områder for, at de 6.000 mennesker, der handler med hinanden, fra rejsebureauer, flyselskaber, hoteller, restauranter og forlystelser, kan hygge sig sammen med 600 journalister fra hele verden.
Når vi snakker om rejser til USA, så er der ingen tvivl om, at den mest populære destination, det er New York af mange grunde. Men hvis man snakker om en soldestination, så er Californien også med, men den absolutte favorit, det er Florida og ikke mindst Orlando. Orlando er den mest besøgte by i USA, og i år der kommer der over 60 millioner turister, og mange af dem er altså danskere, fordi der er både direkte flyforbindelser til Orlando og til Fort Lauderdale, og nu kommer der også til Miami. Og det, der er specielt ved Orlando, det er, at det er også det sted i verden, hvor der er flest forlystelser. Walt Disney købte i sin tid i al hemmelighed, efter han havde fået fantastisk succes i Anaheim, hvor det hele startede i Californien, så købte han et område op på størrelse med Amager, og det er der, han nu har lavet en hel masse forskellige Disney-forlystelsesparker. Og der er mange andre, der er dukket op også. I dag har jeg fornøjelsen at snakke med Alfredo Gonzalez, som er vicepræsident for Visit Florida. Det vil sige turistorganisationen, som skal sørge for at fortælle om Florida og fortælle om alle de nye ting, der sker i Florida. Og jeg står her ved siden af Alfredo Gonzalez, your vice president from Visit Florida. Can you tell me, when you have so many visitors from Denmark, what are they attracted to in Florida?
Carson, first of all, thank you so much for the interview and to be able to talk to my friends in Denmark. Well, for many years, Scandinavian travel to Florida has been driven about two central things. One has been the weather. Needless to say, I think Scandinavians have loved our beaches for as long as I can remember. And two, shopping. As you know, shopping for some of American products is very expensive in any city in Scandinavia. So it became one of those complements that you have great shopping, great beaches, and all year round. That's been always the kind of thing that we can count on the market year round.
Okay. And now you have flight connections to Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and SAS will start to Miami. And the direct connection you have, what will it mean in the future? Do you hope to get more connections from Denmark?
Absolutely. Anytime that you have direct air service, you don't have to dilute the offer. We've always wanted to do Copenhagen, Oslo, Helsinki nonstop. This SAS flight will give us that opportunity that we don't have, not that we don't want to, but we won't have to share that passenger, let's say that's connecting through a New York or a Chicago or an Atlanta. We get them direct. SAS, as you know, has been wanting to grow into Florida, and with this Miami flight, I think it's the beginning of something that we're going to see increased capacity and more frequency.
And it's not only shopping. I understand that the cruise industry from Fort Lauderdale and from Miami especially is growing and is something you make an effort in to get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. And you know this, Carson, because you and I have been working together for so many years. The cruise industry in Florida, and if you look at the three main ports, Port of Miami, Port Everglades, and Port Canaveral, we control about 75% of the cruises that go into the Caribbean. Just that alone, if you look at what Royal Caribbean has done announcing the new cruise ships, with the size of those cruise ships, with capacities over 6,000 passengers per cruise ship, there is a relationship. Most of these cruise ships are built in Scandinavia. So we have a relationship already. Our Scandinavians, our Danish passengers already know cruising, but now they want to do cruising out of Florida, so they do a Florida holiday connected to a cruise. Very popular, and it only keeps getting better and bigger.
When we're talking about shopping, what is it specially that the tourists from Denmark that buy, and how much can they save by buying it in the United States?
I think the key word is called outlet shopping. Shopping into the U.S. has always been a product of an activity, if we want to call it, for many years. But outlet shopping has redefined the whole process. You can go to a Sawgrass Mills or a Tanger Outlets anywhere in the state, and when they offer 70% off retail, most of the time it's 70% off. You can,
but it's not the new fashion you get then.
Oh, you get the latest of everything. As a matter of fact, the Colonnade Outlet shops in Sawgrass Mills is outlet shopping for luxury products. So your Prada, your Gucci, your Salvatore Ferragamo, all those brands are sold at a discount. You do comparison of pricing between what we sell outlets in Florida to, let's say, outlets in New York, the comparison is night and day.
But the average saving, how much would that be, you would say, if you compare with Denmark?
50%. At least, well, you know, and I've been to Denmark many times, a pair of Levi's jeans, 501 Levi jeans anywhere in Scandinavia, probably about comparable to about $120 US. In an outlet mall, you can probably get them for about $35. So
okay.
That's a serious discount.
It seems that now you have a little bit of challenge after the tragic accident with the crocodile and the shooting you have in Orlando. How can you get over that? What do you do to try to get on it and keep going?
Well, we're counting and we're getting the loyalty from our clients. We have, in the last week or the last 10 days, have been nothing but support. We're getting support from our partners worldwide. We have seen increased communication. And I think at the end of the day, Carson, we work in the travel industry. We work in hospitality. We work with our friends. And what we're finding out is our friends are asking, how can we work together? How can we help you? How can we help you through this tragedy? And what it is a basic of being friends, communicating, talking, and realizing that we live in a different world today. That's all.
But how much impact do you think it will have? Will there be? Have you had any cancellation, or will you? Think you will have any cancellations?
No. If anything, we had, as an example, we had a tour operator in the UK that reported that last week on a Wednesday and Thursday, their sales for LGBT product doubled in 2 days. If that is not an indication of loyalty that we have from our partners worldwide, I don't know what is.
Okay. When we're talking about Orlando, it's the biggest tourist city destination in the United States. And what is, you have record, was it 61 million or how much was it?
Well, we had over 105 million visitors to the state last year, which is, of course, a record. That is all our international visitation, which is about 15% of that. The rest was domestic. And needless to say, Orlando has a great portion of that visitation.
Okay. What if you should say in few words, what is new thing in Orlando and in Florida that you would recommend the Danish travelers to go and see?
As far as new, I mean, you have, and if you're looking at the attraction world, Legoland opened last year, which is a great attraction. It's getting a lot of visitors. The Orlando product keeps reinventing itself. The Orlando Eye, downtown Orlando, some of the attractions at the Amway Center, concerts. It is an ever-evolving product, and as you know it, for the last 50 years, has been the #1 product sold in the UK in Scandinavia. So I think that the product continues to evolve. Like almost everything, it grows, it keeps getting better, and actually gives the clients more options. And those options are not only just the attractions, it's fine dining, great shopping, sports, the great outdoors, the music. It's a combination of all the great things that the destination has to offer. I think what it is diversity of product, availability of product, and good value for it.
When you look at the numbers from Denmark, there are about 250,000 people going from Denmark to United States every year. And there's a hype, it's modern to go to United States because it's well known, the language and so on and so on. But can you see, let's say in the next 5 or 10 years, can you see any challenge? Is it from the South America or from the Asia, or can you continue to grow?
If we look at Scandinavia, one of the best things about Scandinavia, and you know that I've been working that market for the good part of the last 30 years, it's been a very stable growth. Now, a challenge in any market is going to be airlift. We have noticed from our partners at Finnair, SAS, Norwegian, and the US carriers that we continue to grow. If we get more capacity, it'll give more seats in the market. Those numbers of 250,000 visitors, if I can put another 200 seats in the market, I know we will fit 200,000 seats. So it's all about what the airlines are willing to commit to our market. Challenges in competition, yeah, the China market is growing huge by 2020, which would be our largest inbound market. India keeps growing. India is a very easy market to work. It's English market. Depending on how strong the dollar continues to be around the world, those are factors that we'll look at. But as far as talking about Denmark, our specific work and future in Scandinavia, it's a very solid relationship. Plus, you know this, we have a lot of Danish people that have already lived in the state of Florida for 2 or 3 generations. So visiting friends and relatives becomes a huge part of the travel decision-making process. So we feel very comfortable that as markets evolve like China and India, the stability of Scandinavia and Denmark will continue to be one of our main markets.
If you should give an estimate how long time travelers from Denmark they stay in Florida, how much they use when they're over here, and what is the average price for a hotel room?
Well, that is a great question. So the average spend, I really wouldn't know right this second how much the average spend is, but I'll tell you that the average length of stay is still closing to 2 weeks. So especially because you mentioned before the cruises, so we see a lot of passengers, they'll take a 7-day cruise tied in with a 7-day land package. On cost of a hotel, we have probably the most diverse product in the hotel. You can have a home with 12 bedrooms in Kissimmee to an apartment studio in Miami or a villa in Pensacola, and you can get everything from $49 to $499. The ranges is everything a customer could possibly need. There's probably a product for that.
Well, if you talk about the people who come here, if you should give a percentage, how many are families with children and how many are, let's say, probably there's not many singles, but a couple who will...
You'd be surprised. Our family market is very strong, but so is our singles, our corporate, our student groups, our religious groups, our meetings and incentives. See, the thing with the state of Florida, you have such a large state, and it's got so much product, it caters to anything, whether it be medical tourism, whether it's LGBT, whether it be adventure travel, whether it be musical, medical. There's probably some product in Florida that offers that. So to break it down, yes, the state of Florida is a very family-friendly state. And I would say that at least 65% of our visitors come as a family. We have the most attractions in any other city, if not any other state, and probably around the world, just looking at Central Florida. So with that, you imagine what that does to the family travel.
And how many are going by driving? How many rent a car and go by themselves? And how many say, we will concentrate staying in Orlando.
The fly drive market, I would say internationally, 75% is fly drive. Really? So that means that between the rental cars that we have, the great transportation now that we have great bus services, between, let's say, a gate like Miami, going to Orlando, or landing in Jacksonville, going to Orlando, Tampa. But I would say that the car rental, because it's so easy to drive in the state of Florida and so inexpensive to rent a car, it's a better option, so everybody does it.
Okay. Now Cuba seems to open up with new cruises and new flights from Florida mainly. Will it have any impact of the number going to Florida?
Not yet. It was probably going to be, in my estimate, and I'm Latin, so I would say that I can consider somewhat of an expert in the field. Cuba does not have today the infrastructure necessary to compete with us. Would you ask me the same question in 5 years? I might have a different answer. But as of today, the Cuba market will not impact any numbers of visitation. If anything, we might have more Europeans that will go do a Cuban holiday and then they'll end up shopping in Florida. So if anything, we look at a positive.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that you go, for instance, to Florida first, and then it's so new, Cuba. Instead of taking all the way, you could go from Key West or Miami to Cuba. It's so close to.
Well, what we've seen right now, if you talk about today, there's a lot of ethnic travel. There's a lot of Cuban Americans that are going back to Cuba and they want to see their roots or their families. That does not really create a negative impact to us. Impact would be, let's say, a market that replaces taking Florida and then moving it to Cuba. That has not happened. What happened is they've added Cuba plus Florida. So to us, it's a positive move.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Great to see you like always. And I guess next time I'll see you in Denmark.
See you in Denmark. You should be welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.